This is when we talk about the comfort zone, fear zone, and learning zone and growth zone. You understand that you are trying your best to get out of the comfort zone. But now you're in a space where you're making excuses because I tried to do this thing. I tried to do this thing with Bobby, and it didn't crank the way that it sounded. And you know what? Maybe it was false advertisement. Maybe he was kind of, just speaking about how dope his business is. But man, Chris, this seems to be really difficult. And to me, what that sounds like is this not Bobby's problem? Because he's laid out the framework for exactly how to do what you need to do. He's already laid out exactly step by step what it's going to take for you to reach $1 million status, to make $500,000 in a year, to make 200, to make 100,000 doing what he's showing. He's already laid that out. But because you're doing something different and you're stepping out into a space, now you're complaining and groaning and moaning. And it's really because you're afraid to get in the game. You're afraid to step out there and show people he's a beginner. She's a beginner. She doesn't really know what she's doing. She might fail. Yeah, I heard she's trying that business thing, but maybe she should just stick with that. She should stick with what she was doing before. I don't know why she keep wasting her time trying to try a business. I mean, just go to work. Listen, go get you a good job and go get you a little technical degree from the community college and girl, you ain't got time for it. You got 2 kids. So all that does is keep you in this fear zone of it's a problem. It's hard. It's not for me. And you will never grow if you believe that. If you believe that, you won't grow. You will be stuck. And so some of us have understood there is a phase in which I have to learn this. And in the learning, I need to be vulnerable enough to say, hey, how do you do this? I've tried. I don't know what I'm doing necessarily. I've given it a shot, but it's just not working out the way that I think it should. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? Do you know how many adults don't get what they need? How many adults don't go after all that God has for them because they're so afraid of seeming like they don't know everything? How many adults will stand on the sideline because they fear the exposure of not knowing? They would rather operate in a sense of everybody kind of believes that I know what I'm doing, and as long as I don't show people, then I'm okay. I'm cool. I'm in the in crowd, man. Like I'm cool. I'm chilling. Meanwhile, you get nothing from it. You stand on the sideline and you act like you know. You don't ask questions. You don't email. You don't send DMs. You don't reach out to people. And so you're staying stagnant while others are looking, quote unquote, silly, but they're facing their challenges. They're seeing opportunities. And every time they reach out to somebody and they ask a better question, they get closer and closer to breaking through. They get closer and closer to becoming the expert. You can't become the expert if you don't know anything. You can't stand on a platform and talk to anybody about absolutely anything if you don't ask questions, if you've never went through a season of growth, if you didn't put your feet in the soil to grow, if you didn't say, I am going to sit here, rain, sunshine, or sleep, and I am going to learn and soak this up because I have to get out of this comfort zone. I've been stuck here too long. My family has been stuck here too long. How many of y'all families have been stuck in the comfort zone? Just put it in the chat that if your family has been stuck in stagnation, been stuck doing the same thing for the last 30 years. It's, exactly, if you went to your mama's house tomorrow and you went there 2 months later, it's going to be the same thing going on no matter what day you go. If you went to your grandma's house or your uncle, ain't nothing changed. Same old same people at the same levels. Nothing's changed, right? And I'm asking you, will it change with you? Does it shift with you? Does the buck stop with you? Do you break through the glass ceiling? Is it your time? Is it your time to shift the last name of the family? Do people see you in, you're walking through the restaurant and they say, "Oh, Mrs. Such and Such or Mr. So and So. So thank you so much for joining us here today. Who do you have with you today? I have my mom. Oh wow, he's listen. We have the table ready for you. Do you have the gravitas because of what you do in the community and in business that when you are with your family, you've created an entirely new aura for them? That now they're with you, it means something. When they sign their name on a check, somebody recognizes and says, "Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay, yes, ma'am. Actually, we have the private suite for these type of conversations. We see that you're a such and such last name." I'm saying you stepping out and taking risk creates those situations because then you end up in the growth zone where now what you do has meaning. What I do has meaning. When I stand up on these platforms, y'all, and I talk to people whether it's, I was just at a Head Start conference a few weeks ago, speaking to a room of 100 teachers, and I was telling them this next point that I'm going to make. I was telling them this next point. Let me see if I can stop sharing here. I was telling them this next point of, if you are an educator and you find yourself, I was telling them this and I thought it was just like, this is striking. And you find yourself believing that I come from a family that didn't do much. We didn't have the most talent, Chris. We didn't have the gifts. We didn't have the money. I wasn't that good at sports, Chris. And so because my dad wasn't good, I wasn't good. We didn't come with, all the money. So hey man, it's not meant for me. If you come from that mindset, that's a fixed mindset. That's a fixed mindset. That is a mindset in which you think I can't do because dot dot dot. Or how am I able to with all that I've been through dot dot dot. When you have a fixed mindset, it requires you to only believe whatever you have or whatever you are is forever. You can't be in education, is what I told them, if you have a fixed mindset. I don't think anybody wants you teaching their kids. If you believe that intelligence is is static. Come from a dumb family, you're going to be dumb no matter what. You're limited. You can't grow your intelligence. I don't care how many books you read, how much education you get, how much experience you get. You will be who you are forever. There are people who believe that. And let me posit this, put this in the corner, tuck it away, put it in a little balloon, wrap it with a gift. I'm going to tell you this. There are people who believe that because they fell, they shall stay fallen. So you may think, yes, Chris, I come from a great family. Actually, we actually did very well. We're actually okay. Maybe I do have a growth mindset. Let me remind you that if you've been through something in 2007 or 2012 and you're still stuck in that place, you might have a fixed mindset. You might still be stuck dealing with who you dated 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago. You might still be stuck in that place when that job fired you and you've always been wondering, why would they fire me when I gave my all? And you haven't recovered from that. You bounce job to job, opportunity to opportunity, right? You've tried, but only to a certain level, because you really don't believe that you're worthy of having people's attention in business or finance. You really don't believe you're worthy when it comes to dating because of that guy who let you go. You really don't believe that you're worthy because of what your parents said to you 2 years ago about you trying to do this program. And so it struck a chord in you. It made you stuck. You're still the 15-year-old girl or boy from when you went through that. You're still the young man at 22 years old who went through a very bad situation and you're still stuck there. Everything that you do refers back to that. And that's a fixed mindset. You're fixed because you don't believe that no matter what happens, you can't shift from it. I think that that's a lie. I think that you actually can change and shift, because I think that if you go from, I can't do something because I can't, Chris, I can't lose this weight, man. I can't do it. Like, Like my mom is a certain, like I can't do it. Don't you understand like what I'm dealing with, Chris? Like this isn't easy. I will point to you and say, let's figure out how can I do that? How can I take these numbers in the bank account and create that? How can I do that? That's when we start asking questions, because even the mindset of how tells me you're interested in moving forward. It tells me you're interested in actually doing something different. And when I'm thinking about people who are fixed, they complain, they blame other people. It's all external. Fixed mindset says it is an external issue in which I am stuck. It's their fault. It's the government. It's Biden. It's Trump. It's gonna be Kamala. It's gonna be Kamala. Let me just be very, very clear. Let me be very clear. I don't care what y'all say about me. You can log off, sign off, go to the moon. I'm telling you now. First off, none of that matters. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I'm with Kamala. All right. So let me be very, very clear. When we think about the external situation, we are saying to ourselves, it's their fault, therefore I'm unable. It's their fault, so therefore I can't. Can you imagine that? Can you? My son, my baby boy, Major, 3 years old. Major, it's time to brush your teeth, brother. We got to go to school. I can't. I can't, Daddy. I can't. Major will wait on you to get his toothbrush, put the toothpaste on there, run in a little water, and you do all of that. He still wants you to brush his teeth. Now, at 3, he may get a pass. But how many adults are proverbially waiting on somebody to do all that for them? Yeah, I understand, man. Bobby got it laid out, but he ain't give me no customers yet. Like, I mean, for what I'm paying, he could give me a customer or two. He could, help me out, kind of get started real easy. I mean, I want more marketing material, from Bobby. Why he give me more, why did he make it easier for me? And even if he turned around and did all that, you would still fail, because there is something about life in which my issues better become internal. Whatever's going on with me has to be internal, because I like to fix it. I want to be able to say, whatever it is that's not happening is my fault. I will actually purposefully find a way to take blame for it, because I would rather control the situation and be able to dig in and say, okay, this business deal hasn't worked yet. I'm still waiting on some stuff to happen, and it's not worked out yet. And okay, why? Let me think about why. What can I do? What email can I send? Can I help out, with the contract? Can I help out with the communication? Can I step in, and what can I do? Versus saying, hey, man, what is going on? They suck, man. Like they're really not about their business. They're not really trying to do this. That's an externally fixed mindset. But I believe that if I control something, then I can change something. All right. I don't need to be controlling, but I do want to maintain a level of control over my life. I never, ever, ever want to give up control to where I am waiting on someone else's actions to help me in the course of my life. Is there a realm in which we do depend on one another's movement and transactions to move things forward? Absolutely. But I never want to look in the mirror and say, it's not happening because of me. To me, that's bullcrap. To me, you're failing not only yourself, but your family. To me, you're not only failing yourself, but if you have good vision, big vision, you're failing your community. That's me. That's me. I can't wait to get the money that I want. I told y'all earlier this year, last year, probably earlier this year, about a deal that was coming about. Now, this deal has taken quite a long time. I'm just going to be honest with you. It was August of last year in which this deal popped up, and I think I might have shared some of it with you. And throughout the deal, I continue to wonder, is there something that I could be doing to make things move forward? Now, fortunately or unfortunately, there was nothing I could do. It was in the power in the hands of other people, but I kept my eye on it. I said to myself, if I could ever get in there and move things around, I will do so. whatever you guys need. Do you need me to travel and meet? Do you need me to do a free work? Whatever it is, when you are on the cusp of something great, there's no time to sit back and blame somebody else for something not. You better get your butt in there and take responsibility and find some solutions. All right. When we are thinking about a growth mindset, we got to keep moving forward. We got to learn from our failures. We have to fail forward. Fail forward. Some of you have heard this before, but the idea of failing forward is not just getting back up. It's taking the lesson from the fall to move you forward. It's taking the lesson from the fall to move you forward, okay? Because whatever it is that knocked you down briefly was heavy enough to knock you down. But if I pick it up a certain way, it could swing me forward. I need to take the lesson in which made me fall. I need to pick it up and I need to help it swing me forward. Now I got momentum as I make my way back from whatever it is that I'm coming back from. Y'all with me? All right. So I want to move on to this point of the fact that been reading this really, really good book, man. I'm a reader. Any readers in the room? What books are y'all reading right now? What is something that you read at your bedside or in the morning? Y'all give me some books. Put some books in the chat for me, y'all. Light it up. I want to know what books y'all reading. Somebody encourage me. I want to know what books y'all reading. I hope I'm not the only reader. Readers are leaders. Readers are leaders. I'm going to help y'all with something. And I want this to be a growth point for you. This is going to be huge. I want some books. We're still at the same amount of comments we was a second ago. There we go. All right. Okay. Very good. I'm gonna save all them books too. At some point, I'll step into them. I'll read them. If it ain't get me nowhere, I might stop. But I'm at least gonna look into all of them. And I want to give y'all a website. Hold on. Hold on. I had to take a brief break. I had to save my voice for a second. Hold on. Let me give y'all a website. This website here is my baby. So now, if any of y'all work for the feds, don't snitch on my website. All right, because this is my crown jewel of education. So let me tell you something. Readers are leaders. My pastor 20 years ago told me something, and I thought it was striking, and it made sense to me as I got older and I started speaking more, and then I started speaking for money, and then it really started making more and more sense. And he said, do you know, and this is a private conversation with me and him. I was, serving at church, super faithfully. So, I was able to kind of be in the space at this, large church, mega church, and was able to, be in the space for a long time. And so it's a very intimate conversation. And one of the things he told me, he said, do you know why people pay me a lot of money to speak? He says, because I read. Now, that seems very generic on the face, right? But if you think about it, people pay a lot of money to listen to somebody speak because they read. So the more that I have to say, the more interesting my thoughts are, the more that I have to give, the deeper the well, the deeper the reserve. It makes me appear to be smarter and also gives me a more interesting stance to speak from. I have more to say. So in your business, how much are you reading about what you do? So then when you are having conversations with customers, you don't sound like you're reading off of talking points. It sounds as if you got, man, he sound like, listen, I talked to like that guy about this, that guy about credit, that guy. But when I talked to her, she was giving me some real game. Not knowing you just read 3 books in the last month on the topics, not knowing you've been educating yourself like crazy. But the minute that you educate yourself is yours. It's yours. So readers are leaders. All right. Y'all like my link? Is that link dope? Did I help y'all? That link, listen, I'm telling you now, do not call the feds. That link is gold. Okay. That link is gold. That way you can get free books, free PDFs, free. And as somebody who's written a book, I will say that I'm not necessarily, all the way hurt by the fact that people are able to read material for free, because I think that as a culture who reads, a smarter culture. All right, so let me get back to it. So listen, here's my thing that I want everybody to do. We have to take our mindset and we need to take it to a 10x level. Some of you have read Grant Cardone's 10x. Some of you read the book 10x is easier than 2x. I think 10x is easier than 2x is a better book, but either or would be great. And when we think about this idea of comfort zones and growth mindset, we have to understand that we have to think bigger, not smaller. Now, let me make this make sense. Let's ground in this principle here. The idea that you are at any moment growing is interesting to me, because while we can all grow, this is so interesting. We can grow, we can appear to be growing. My question to you is, at what rate? What rate are you growing? So, yeah, we all can grow and we're all growing, but at what rate are you growing? Are you growing at a rate in which it's a 2x growth rate? Or it's like, yeah, that's like, cool. You should be doing what you're doing. I told my wife, I said, you get to an age where the things you're doing is what you should be doing. If you were 20, I was in my 20s and I bought my first house. It was kind of like people were like, whoa, like, you bought a house, bro? Like, that is very dope. But if you're 40 and you bought your first house, your mom would applaud you, but you should buy a house, right? At 40. It wouldn't be like awestruck, right? So at some point, the multiple of success has to look different for the stage of your life. The multiple of success has to look different at a certain stage in your life. So it's not enough for us to just be satisfied that we made $50,000 in our business when we have 2 or 3 kids and we got all types of responsibilities and liabilities in business things, right? 50,000 is cool, and you should be proud of yourself for building your business to a $50,000 level. But at some point, the goal has to be to 10x that multiple. Now, what does that look like? I say that because if you and I were sitting down drawing out what we're going to do for 2025, that piece of paper we have is going to house our vision for that year. Will that paper house goals that are 10x or 2x? Will that paper house grow our subscribers by 2 to 300? Increase our revenue from 50,000 to 100,000? Like, right? Like, those are nominal, gradual goals. And my thing is, everybody's thinking about those goals. It's kind of easy, it's rudimentary. But when you're 10xing those goals and you say, okay, y'all, listen, I'm about to flip this shit on his head. We about to flip this. I'm telling you now. We are going to go for a $500,000. I know, shut up. We did 50,000 last year. I know it's gonna be hard, but we about to do a $500,000. Chris, how are we gonna do that? That's why y'all here. So we can think about how to grow this thing 10x. Because listen, it will be, when you are thinking from that concept, it is now not the average thought process on how to get revenue the next year. It's okay, if the goal is that, we need to think about some different ideas, because we thought about, these ideas in a very normal way. We're going to market on social media. We're going to do some Facebook posts, blah, blah, blah. But to get to that $500,000 is going to take us to do something different. We got to innovate, right? We don't need to just try harder. I mean, everybody's trying harder, but we need to innovate. Are there different groups that no one's thought of? Is there something we can attach ourselves to that is so unique and creative that it blows people's minds away? Is there something that we can do? If we aim for 10x results, it pushes us out of our comfort zone, because we have to learn. We literally we can't go from whatever this is to 10xing it and saying, I can just we can just float our way to 50. Um if you were a nurse, right? And you were just a regular nurse, maybe a STNA, and you had the idea that you wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Can you? I posit in this group chat that everyone here, if you decided you want to be a doctor, you could do so. I didn't say it would be easy, but I will believe that you could do so. Y'all believe me? If everyone in this room decided that I want to be a doctor, neurosurgeon, plastic surgeon, whatever, you could. It would take you a certain amount of time and you would get there. True? Right? Am I telling the truth? You would get there. But the thought process of her going from an STNA to an LPNA to an RN, right? That's a gradual step of education. But if she said, you know what, I am going to sit my butt down and I'm going to be a neurosurgeon, that means that her entire schooling skips a track and she has to go a whole other direction in the same field because she wants to 10x her results. She wants to 10x her income, her influence, and her impact. So she's going to do 10x amount of school. She's going to have to lock down and buckle down her focus and attention at another level. But she's going to, in the end, get 10x results, and it's going to push her out of her comfort zone. If you want greater, you have to think about what you're doing in a greater fashion. Watch this. I'm going to challenge the man of the hour. Bobby's in the room, and while Bobby is successful, he has already shown himself that, yes, I can do what I'm doing and it works. But I don't think that's enough. I don't think there is not enough. You're not as great as you are. Why are there not more people here? Why is it not 300 people in the room? Why don't we see more people getting the impact? It's not because you don't know what you're doing. It's because we have to grow the idea and the concept when we're sitting down and drawing this out and saying, yo, what do we need to do to 10x this thing, to take this bigger? Who do I need to get in contact with? What skills do I need to learn so that I can become a better leader, marketer, just CEO? What do I need to do so that we can take this to another level? And not just a gradual level. Forget taking another step. Everybody's doing that. But in your life, what is it that needs to get away from taking baby steps and you need to take some leaps? You got to take some leaps. So you got to be able to walk around and say, I'm about to tear this thing up. All right. So now when we start adopting this relentless commitment to growth, we have to get disciplined. It takes focus, resiliency. Chris, why does it take resiliency to go from 10x to 2x? Why does it take resiliency to get out of my comfort zone? Because you're going to get knocked down. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to be heartbroken at times as you go on this journey. It's going to be arduous and difficult. So you need to be able to bounce back. You need to be able to rely on your mindfulness of your situation of, I got to get still sometime. I got to put this phone down. It's no longer a mobile phone anymore because it's always with me. I thought it was a mobile phone, but boy, this phone stay in my hand. It's not even mobile no more. It's just it's a part of my body. I got a new appendage. And I got to put this thing down so that I can start getting my mind together. I got to step away from social media. I got to step away from technology so that I can get my mind together. So I need to breathe and slow things down so I can process these thoughts. I got a lot going on, Chris, and I want to be great. I want to be so great, Chris. I want to break through the ceiling of what people thought that I couldn't do. I don't got limitations. The only limitation I got is me. And Chris, if I close my eyes, I can see exactly what God has for me. I can see it so clearly, Chris. But man, I'm telling you, Chris, I got so much going on, stuff in my way. I got people who hating on me, who don't want to see me great. I got trauma. I got stuff in my past, Chris. You don't understand what I'm going through, man. These bills is on my table. I'm struggling, man. I really am going through. And I'm gonna tell you, even in the midst of all that, you can still grow to be great. That actually, that's the energy and the fuel that you're gonna need to be great. You now have more reasons than the average person to go and be great. Most people who come from a silver spoon life don't have enough reasons to even say to themselves, I want to be great. You know why? Because life is already cool, right? But here you are, you sitting around looking at all the mess and all the stuff going around and what you don't got and where you come from. And I'm going to tell you this, use it as fuel. Use it as a part of my story. Use it to go ahead and shift the atmosphere for your family so that when they walk in the house in 30 years, it's your picture on the wall. It's your picture that they looking at. We're gonna take it old school. I want a picture of me. I want a watercolor painting. I want them to see me, and I'm gonna sit like this on the picture. So when they walk in, they're gonna see Granddaddy David sitting on the picture on the wall and say, Grandmama, why is he on the wall? Because he was a great man, because he killed it, because he overcame all these obstacles, because he went ahead and did what nobody thought he could do, because he didn't never quit, because he kept praying, because he kept going, he kept moving. And I'm going to tell you this, the minute that you decide to get an attitude that you will not die in your mess, that you will not die with where you came from, that it is you needing to grow up, you needing to stop complaining that you got shit on your ass because you're not a baby anymore, right? You understand if when you look around and what you're looking at stinks and it smells, you better be the first one to look at yourself and look at your diaper and say, it is me. It is me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. I stink. My life stinks. Everything around me stinks. My bank account stinks. My relationship stinks. The what I'm doing stinks. And it is me. I take responsibility so that I can grow and go. I need to grow, go, and glow. If I don't do that, then all these little kids looking around at me, they gonna look at me in 10 years when they understand what's going on, and they gonna finally say, you failed us. You let us down because you couldn't step out your comfort zone and do something that was hard and uncomfortable because you didn't want to learn. You wanted to stay average. And how do you think it's going to feel when they start holding you accountable, when you can't sell them on your BS no more, when they understand that you should have tried harder? What are you doing today that's going to push you out of your comfort zone and into growth? What are you going to do tomorrow? You got Chat GPT. You got the biggest brain in the world. You got a new chief of staff in Chat GPT. Learn to use it. You got a $500,000 assistant that will cost you $20 a month. Learn to use it. It's at your disposal. Make it work for you. You are unlimited. Tap into your resources, your friends, your circle that you trust. Listen, there is a wealth of resources in this room alone. And what's dope and unique is that it is a synergistic room. You are all here for a common goal, even if it's individual. You all understand why you're here. Lean on each other. This is the place to do it. This is the place. There's no mystery about why any of you come to these meetings. It's because you're in the same field. So what are you doing that's making you great? What's your plans this year? What can I learn from you? What worked for you last year? What didn't work for you? That's getting out of your comfort zone. And I'm telling you, don't you ever blame Bobby or any of the people on his staff for you not growing. The first thing you do is look at your diaper. You look at that diaper and you think, is it me that is stinking up the joint? Like, do I need to, because, and am I waiting on someone else to wipe me? Am I waiting on somebody else to take responsibility for what I'm going through? Or is it me? So again, let me understand and be very clear. Let me make you understand, be very clear. It's time to grow up. No more complaining about what's not working. We have to take massive, decisive action that goes with a growth mindset. There is greatness in this room. There are historical people in this room. We are living in the midst of living history. Some of you are going to end your life and people are going to talk about you. It don't got to be in a textbook, but there are people who will say and refer to you as she's a person who changed my life. She's the person who changed my life. I talked to her, I talked to him. And when I talked to that brother, man, he shifted my life. He pulled me to the side. He has so much to say. And his story, I resonated with where he came from. And I look about where he is now. And I want to be just like him. I want to be just like her. If that's not you right now, who cares? Build it. Build it. And they will come. Growing up is hard, but staying stuck is harder. I want you to choose growth, choose discomfort, and in doing so, you will choose a better version of yourself. Thank you all so much. I hope that this resonated with somebody today. I hope that you really got something from this. And if you didn't, I will be back next time to do it all over again. But any questions, any comments, give it to me.
Any questions, any comments? You can raise your hand, you can come off mute. Other than that, man, I enjoy it, bro. I enjoy it, man. I enjoyed the sermon, man.
Well, listen, hey man, I tell you this all, I tell you this all
No,
the time.
you gave it though. You gave it, man. We all needed that. You gave it, brother.
Yeah, I missed y'all, man. I missed y'all. And again,
This is it.
I've spoken 3 times this week, but something about this group that just feels good. Feels good and feels like home. And so I save my best for y'all, each and every month. And so I'm just happy to be here. And I hope this was a sense of self-care, soul care, and that you feel built up, that you feel as if you're ready to take on the world. Because I'm telling you, it's tough out there. And when you could work for somebody, go to work, and your life will be very cool, right? But when you go out there and you trying to like build a name for yourself, that's when you start going against the titans. You start going against the people who want to fight you now because now they see you coming, right? They don't mind you working for them. But you get out there and start trying to make a name for yourself and build a business and trying to shift stuff, you're gonna run into stuff. You have to be able to say to yourself and situate your mind and say, I am ready and prepared. Set your thoughts to understand that it's going to be difficult in the next 30 steps. That if I when I went out, if I go out running this morning, it's going to be hard when I get to that hill. Every morning it's hard. When I set my mind to it, I can now overcome it easier because it's not going to shock me. So let's all think to ourselves, in this journey, this is going to be hard. I'm not going to get what I want in a year. It may take me 5, but I will be damned if I quit because my family deserves it. And I want my bank account and my influence. I want to be influential through my bank account and my giving. If I can do those 2 things, I will make an impact on this earth. All right. So situate your mind, put yourself in a situation where you already see, visualize success and also visualize it being difficult.